the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
8.5. They were 9.5 before Nico Iamaleava departed. The schedule has not changed. 8.5 is a perfect number for them in terms of their over-under. I believe ESPN had the over last week. I saw in an article their analysts were projecting the over. 8.5 wins was the favorite there. So getting to 9-3 is where they're headed. But I do think it is interesting because I understand both sides. And now that Joey Aguilar, we're taping this on a Sunday night, has been confirmed as QB1 for 2025, there is a possibility. Like, there is a path where I think what made me feel a whole lot better was ESPN's final S&P Plus rankings. I don't know if you saw that, Matt Green, that Bill Connolly dropped this week.
Oh, yeah, the SEC bias.
The what?
Yeah, the SEC bias. I see people talking about it. Oh, the SEC.
Oh.
Was it Rhett Lashley? Was it Rhett Lashley that was talking about the SEC bias in the FPI
Oh, no,
rankings?
I don't know. But all I know is he had Tennessee 12, but he has Tennessee number 4 defensively. Like, his S&P Plus actually has Tennessee with a better defense than Georgia at number 5. He projects Tennessee's defense to be better than Georgia's in 2025. Top 25 in special teams, 33rd in offense. So the reason I think that's important is, like, the numbers, like, there has been a huge contrast between national media and what numbers seem to suggest about Tennessee. The numbers still like Tennessee a lot in 2025. The national feeling is not that same way where they're like, oh, you lost Nico. How do you rebound? It's a rebuilding year, this, that, and the other. Tennessee is going to be able to run the heck out of the ball. I think they have 3 really good backs in Peyton Lewis, Deshaun Bishop, and Star Thomas. Like, they're going to be able to run it down people's throats. Tennessee's tackles are going to be a whole lot better than what they saw last year. Lance Hurd looks like $1 million. He's going to be one of the better left tackles in the SEC. You have 2 SEC scary good guys that you want as tackles in the SEC with David Sanders, 5-star number 1 overall tackle at right tackle, and Lance Hurd at left. You're going to be just fine in the interior with Jesse Perry, Sam Pendleton, and William Moy. Tight ends, I think they may have, outside of Georgia, the best tight end room in the SEC with Ethan Davis, Miles Kitselman, who I think is going to be a draft pick next year, and the 2 big-time freshmen 4-stars, Jack Van Dorselaer and Desan Brame. They're loaded there. So if they want to go 12 personnel where they were able to just skull crush a lot of teams into 10 wins last year by playing a very ground and pound physical style and out physicaling people at the line of scrimmage, they're going to be able to do that in a better way, even on the offensive line this year. So I think if the passing game is not exactly where it needs to be, then hey, I think Tennessee's actually going to be more built to do what they did last year to a great extent. Losing David Hobbs to injury this week, to a foot injury, and he's going to be out for a couple weeks, it looks like. That's not great as your third tackle, defensive tackle, that is. In the interior behind Jackson Moy and Bryce Neeson, you need him healthy because I think he has breakout potential and a guy who could play key snaps on third down rushing the passer. Tyree Weathersby's healthy at strong side defensive end. That's huge. I think they're going to be deeper at strong side defensive end than they've been in a long time. They need one of Caleb Herring or Jordan Ross to pop at Leo behind Joshua Josephs. That's huge. Javon McCoy, TBD on when he's back, but you got Colton Hood, and Colton Hood, by all accounts, has been really good for Tennessee and should be a plug-and-play corner from Colorado, from a 4-star out of Georgia. I think they're going to be really solid. Like, Boo Carter, huge unknown, but McMurray at star will be just fine for Tennessee if that's where they have to go. My thing is, like, they need Aaron Carter to stay healthy. One of the things that's happened to this defense the last couple of years, when Keenan Peely went down, you noticed the drop-off. Like, Keenan was a big-time leader, older player. It's just not having him, you just notice where a lot of the young guys were thrust into action. You had to throw Elijah Herring and Jalen Smith, 2 3-star guys, into the rotation because you lost Peely. This year, you have more blue chip talent, but they're all young. Like, everybody behind Aaron Carter, who's become the leader of this defense, is young. Arion led the team in tackles last year. He needs to be in bubble wrap the next 2 weeks because Arion, if you're going to have a top 4 defense, Arion's got to play all 12 games. He's got to be a leader. He's got to help those guys behind him, the young blue chip linebackers, develop, be that guy. But I think there actually is, there's 100% path. I feel really good about the defense, really good about special teams with Max Gilbert and Jackson Ross and Boo and whoever else is back there. I feel really good about the running game, really good about the tackles, really good about tight end. The only thing I don't feel good about is receiver, and that can be proven wrong. Like, if Joey Aguilar is able to make some plays downfield, take some chances that Nico did not, I mean, he is going, that's the thing that I have no idea how it's going to unfold, is does Joey build that timing? Is he able to bring that downfield assault back that we have not seen since 2022. It's a huge unknown. I have no idea. I do know though, he's going to try. Like early on, Tennessee is going to be really fascinating to watch because he's only had 2.5 months to learn the system. Like he's going to be freestyling out there a little bit, Matt Green. So I am very curious to see how he looks, what the chemistry is like, not having his 3 receivers on the same page all August with not all 3 of them not being able to practice together for the majority of fall camp here. If that's your biggest worry, I think Tennessee showed last year and Heupel has shown in the last 3, he's won 30 games doing this. Like, I think the floor is still really high. I think I'm going to go over. I think I'm just going to go, if they're healthy in some key spots here, I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to be 9-3, and I would not be surprised if it's 8-4 still, but I'm going to go 9-3. I'm going to go positive.
Yeah,
Not a playoff team though.
I think this is a perfect number in terms of like, I think the over and under really determines if the season is a success or not. Like, I think 9-3, every Tennessee fan is just like, guys, like Nico pulled the rug out from under us. Like this, XYZ Heupel's gotten essentially where to the floor of our team is 9 wins. Like we're fine. Everything's good. And it feels like 8-4. It's like, okay, now there's a little bit of worry. Like, I don't know. Maybe they still give them that benefit of the doubt because of the reasons I just mentioned, but it feels like everyone would understand, like Georgia or Tennessee hasn't won at Florida or at or in Tuscaloosa since 2003. And they haven't beaten Georgia in Knoxville since 2015. So they're having to break some streaks with those 3 games right there. And you look at, like, if they lose those 3 games, I think that's what's acceptable. And I think 9-3 was realistic with Nico. And I think there's a chance. Like, I just think there is some downgrade from Nico that we see. And I wasn't even the biggest Nico fan, but I think there's some downgrade. So I think maybe it's Oklahoma. I'm not predicting them to lose to Mississippi State on the road. I'm not predicting them to lose to Kentucky on the road. Although the last 3 trips to Lexington have all been close games, if I remember correctly. So, like, I don't know, just it's tough to play anywhere in the SEC, and we've seen Heupel kind of lay some eggs to this point on the road. Maybe it's the Bama and Florida games, but it's like I wouldn't even consider those laying eggs. You might just lose to good teams on the road. The fact that they've struggled the way they have, it helps to get probably the 2 worst teams in the SEC as those other 2 games on the road. But so maybe it's Georgia, maybe it's Oklahoma, but I think I'm going to go under. I think this team goes 8-4 this year.
Very much a possibility. I'm just going to, I think I'm going to give Heupel and the staff benefit of the doubt. And I like the numbers part of it where this defense, if they're a top 10 defense and they're a top 10 rushing attack with this schedule, they can absolutely get to 9-3.
Like, I think, like, we kind of compare teams to Penn State as being those teams that, like, just beat everyone they should beat and then lose to the best teams. Like, I think you can almost put Tennessee in that conversation the last few years. Although they've beaten they've beaten Alabama when they were number 1. They beat Alabama last year. But I don't know, without the, and maybe in Heupel's system, Aguilar looks a lot better. But without the guaranteed talent at quarterback, I don't know if we can pencil in Tennessee as who they can automatically beat. And then the toss-up games are the best teams on the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tennessee is going to be favored in 9 games. So if they're favored in 9 games this year, then Heupel's pretty good at winning games he should. So, and Tennessee's lost 1 home game in the last 3 years. And that team's coming to Knoxville in week 3.
Yeah, and that's probably a good time to get Georgia as well.
We shall.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.